TierZoo. Really?
Right, so in my video on dinosaur builds, I casually referenced the fact that cheetahs are low tier, which ended with me getting a ton of comments from angry cheetah mains asking me to explain myself. And fair enough, I probably should. But instead of just making a video on cheetahs, I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone by also finally releasing the tier list for the cat dynasty. First, let's talk about the place cats as a whole are at in the meta. So I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone that cats are exceptionally effective builds that have held a high tier spot in the meta for more than a while. And though this isn't true of every cat build, of which there are more than 40, cats carved out their spot in the meta by being the best choice by far for anyone looking to play an assassin or rogue class. Their weapons and movement kit are carefully crafted to allow cat players to have an easier time scoring critical hits on their targets than most other
Vision's
carnival
a helpful
players.
one.
Like I said, there are more than 40 different builds possible, so I can't really fit them all into a single video. So instead, I'm going to go over the most popular ones, and hopefully the way I analyze them will help you make your own call if you're interested in one of the less popular builds. So anyways, I'm going to start from the bottom of the tier list and go up from there. Right at the bottom, we've got the cheetahs. They have the highest movement speed of any land build, which is definitely an impressive title to hold. When it comes to scoring kills on builds with high mobility like gazelles, antelope, and ostriches, there are a few better at it than the cheetah. But while this works against those particular targets in that particular situation, it serves no purpose when it comes to actually defending the kill. And as a result, a high percentage of the kills a cheetah gets end up getting stolen by lions and hyenas. Cheetahs need higher power and defense stats to actually be able to reap the benefits of their high mobility. The cheetah's inability to defend itself makes the early game extremely difficult for new cheetah players too. High-level players can't prevent stronger builds from griefing the new cheetah players, and as a result, very few cheetahs even reach the late game where they can abuse their high mobility stat. Long story short, F tier because they get bodied way too hard by competing builds.
So in a recent video we watched from Casual Geographic, he included a clip of a leopard climbing a tree. And I made a note that I didn't know that they did that. I've never seen a leopard in the wild or watched a leopard documentary, now that I think about it. But it had me realizing that I don't know much about big cats at all, aside from the few random facts I picked up watching, what was that Netflix show? Tiger King. That was a wild one. But anyway, instead of watching a David Attenborough documentary, I thought, oh, let's see if TierZoo's covered them. And he has with this cat tier list. So here we are.
In D tier, we've got the lynx. I don't have too much to say about them. They've got low medium stats
I can't
across
picture
the
a
board,
lynx.
with the exception of stealth. And they do possess one relatively useful ability, the ability to move silently through snow. They're best at taking out small prey using stealth, but in my opinion, there are better choices for this type of playstyle, such as the owl or the viper. While they don't get griefed nearly as badly as cheetahs, they do have to watch out for cougars, wolves, and coyotes.
I've met a
One
few
level
cougars.
higher and we reach the cougar. While its stealth is actually a bit lower than the lynx's, all other stats are a good bit higher, especially strength. However, it's not quite strong enough to overpower midweights like deer and elk without putting itself at risk for taking damage too. While it can climb pretty well, it's most comfortable duking it out on the ground. I've never discussed troll builds on this channel, but honestly the trolling potential with cougars is too good not to mention. Cougars lack access to the roar move, but that doesn't stop them from trying, and as a result, they have one of the craziest battle cries in the game. Instead of actually being useful as an intimidating sonic AoE, it instead sounds almost exactly like a woman being brutally murdered.
Yes.
Which is one of the...
If you've ever watched or listened to a Mr. Nightmare or watched a David Politis video on the Missing 411, camping horror stories, forest horror stories, hiking, whatever, they often mention accounts of humans who get fooled by the cougar sound. They think it's a woman screaming, so they go out to investigate, and then they get off the path and go missing. Well, some acknowledge that it's probably a cougar. Some think it's a skinwalker. We won't get into that now. But that made me have a mental note. If in the forest in the middle of the night, do not investigate new sounds. That's not life advice, that's just me. So, yeah, you
A few ways to seriously mess with human players that invade their territory.
Oh, good. I wouldn't investigate that.
There are two major styles players opt for when going for a cat build, the feline style and the panther style. All of the builds so far have been in the feline style, which generally has higher mobility but lower strength. Panther style cats, on the other hand, are stronger, bulkier, and also have access to the panther signature move, Roar.
Okay.
So we're finally going to switch gears over to the panther builds as we continue up the tier list. The leopard build is the next rung up on the tier list, being Africa's premier solo rogue class. Of the panther style builds, this is the smallest. This offers the leopard players maximum mobility while climbing, a trait they use to the fullest. While it is definitely stronger than the cheetah, it is still no match for gank squads like lions and hyenas. But unlike the cheetah, leopards actually have a way to avoid getting their kills stolen. Leopards can climb much better than any of their competitors, and they do have high enough strength to carry their kill up the tree. This
It just looks like a ragdoll.
allows them to gain all of the XP they deserve. All these traits together are in the leopard high B tier. Now we're at A tier, and this is where the tier list gets a little muddy, since we've only got 2 tiers left to place quite a few more builds. If I'm being honest, even though I placed leopards in B tier, the snow leopard players, with their extra stealth bonus, have a strong argument for A tier. Anyways, at the bottom of A tier, we have the largest of the cats, the tiger. Not many unique abilities, but generally just very high stats. While tigers do have decent stealth, they rely more on their sheer power for winning fights. This allows them to take out tough and dangerous players like the boar. One top tier ability they do have is their incredibly powerful jump, making them deceptively mobile while appearing to have only average speed. Overall, if the tier list was simply about who would win in a one-on-one fight, tigers would be S tier, no doubt. Unfortunately, that isn't the case, because even though they'd lose in a one-on-one fight with a tiger, lions are undoubtedly more viable overall. If you watch my videos a lot, you know I see coordinated attacks as one of the most overpowered strats in the whole game, and lions are basically
Teamwork.
the poster child for coordinated attacks. So far, most of the other cats we've talked about all generally target players playing squishy targets, but lion players are some of the only ones bold enough to deliberately attack a tank. Their highly organized parties they form allow them to control entire sections of the map, and their defined roles prevent leeching and also protect newer players from gankers. All in all, great build, easily A+ tier. And finally, we've reached the top tier, the build that embodies everything excellent about the cat dynasty, the Jaguar. Jaguars are the absolute best build in the entire game when it comes to one-shotting players with a critical hit. They have the most damaging bite of any of the cats, enough to pierce armor, and their incredible accuracy lets them nail their target right in the weak point, the back of the head. They may not have the raw stats that the lion and tiger do, but they more than make up for it with their special abilities. The most important is their incredible eyes, which negate all stealth bonuses. Most cats have great vision and can even see in darkness,
Did not know
but the
jaguars
jaguar
are
can even see a
amphibious.
target obscured by camouflage or hiding in murky water. The second, less obvious perk is that jaguars are the most versatile cat build available. They're great sprinters and pristine climbers, but they're also just as much at home hunting in the water as they are in a tree. No other build can boast dominance in the arboreal, terrestrial, and aquatic map zones. They really do dominate. Lions act like they own the place, but they do face plenty of competition. But jaguars, they do own the place. They could carry their food up a tree if they wanted to, but there's no need. So yeah, a build that can one-shot anything on its server and dominates 3 of the 4 main play zones. That's your S tier. So there you have it, the tier list of the cats. Thanks for watching. Oh, did I forget something? Yeah, you buggers are getting your own video.
The thing about house cats for me is I feel like they only really want you when they want something, and the rest of the time they're antisocial and they don't want to be bothered. Not all cats. I'll hold on a commercial. If I had a quarter for every time somebody said, my cat's not like that, my cat's like a dog, I'd have a couple bucks, like $2.25. But I might be biased. I grew up with dogs, and they're more active. You take them out for walks. I appreciate that. Although I would probably put cats higher up on a domesticated animal tier list if there were such a thing, because they are very clever, so I'll give them that. All right, that was fun learning about big cats. This was from TierZoo. This is one of his earlier videos. It was 5 years old. He's very consistent. I'll make sure to link the video down below. Let me know if you have any cat facts, big cat facts. And for a literary recommendation, there's only one book that I believe I've read that has anything to do with cats, and that's from an author called Murakami. This book's called Kafka on the Shore. And Murakami is, I think, one of my favorite contemporary authors. Definitely top 7. He's Japanese in the magic realism genre. He's also a very good artist. So, a very versatile guy. But this book, the cat aspect is a very small aspect, the character that speaks with cats. It's a story of a young boy who is on the run. And it turns into a bit of a thriller at some point as well. If you've ever read any Murakami, let me know which one was your favorite. Mine is probably 1Q84, which is a playoff of 1984. But they're not very similar, 1984 and 1Q84. Other than that, I'm going to look for some free short stories that Murakami has written in case you want a sampler of his style. And I'll make sure to link those in the bio, as well as the title of Kafka on the Shore. And that's all I've got. So leave your thoughts on any of this. Thank you for watching with me. Catch you next time.